When I bought this Mazda Speed 3, I thought I could throw an engine in and be on my way. Instead, this car has pushed me completely out of my comfort zone. It taught me how to modify a Speed 3, how to diagnose problems, how to fabricate parts, even how to time an MCR engine. And honestly, how not to give up on projects, even after they've been sitting for years. But in the last episode, it's pushing me further than ever before. The engine blew up, which means this car is about to get its fourth engine, and this time I'm building it myself. But that means I'm stepping into territory I've never explored before. I've never torn down an engine, I've never rebuilt an engine, and somehow I'm now staring at 3 of them. So today, we're tearing them all apart to figure out what failed, what can be saved, and how we're going to build the next version of this car. Before I can dismantle anything, I need to undo all the work I did before, starting with pulling the blown engine out of this Speed. So first up, gonna drain the coolant out of the car.
Yeah. O sol nasceu, novo dia chegando.
Oil.
Vamos com fé, correndo atrás, sem medo, sempre sonhando. Segue pra frente e bora com garra, assim vamos buscando. Cada momento de pé é uma chance de seguir lutando. Eu não posso parar, meu plano é chegar. No meu destino eu acredito que eu vou conquistar. Não posso duvidar, se é hora. Vamos fazer história. Nessa vida somos vencedores. Ok. Somos vencedores.
Alright, time to pull this engine out.
Somos vencedores. Somos vencedores.
Oh, the fuel line. Yep, that's a problem. Yep.
It's time I pick up the pace. This moment's my
Alright, so the engine's out of the car finally. Didn't take too long, about 3 hours or so. And here's the glorious hole to... Oh man, this is intense. Like it cracked, it pushed the block completely over here. Oh man, that is wild. Oh, here's a chunk of the engine. Oh man, honestly, it's cracked all the way here. That is wild. I'm gonna take the transmission off and put the remaining of this engine on the stand. Oh, look at that. It's like a little window here too. The coolants keep leaking everywhere. Nice. All right, so the engine's back on the stand. Now it's just a matter of taking everything apart. It's pretty impressive how big the hole is. I'm slightly excited and slightly concerned to see what kind of damage is at the bottom, but there's only one way to find out. So let's take this thing apart and hopefully there's some stuff we can still use on this. Okay, so I just took out my starter and that's completely busted because there's another hole in the block. It's a see-through engine from side to side. This is this. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
overcame my past, all the knew me. Hope gave it to me, felt like a movie. I see the light, my life can't be gloomy. Silence the lies, now I see the true me. Ay, eu não posso parar, meu plano é chegar. No meu destino eu acredito que eu vou conquistar. Não posso duvidar, se é hora, vamos fazer história. Nessa vida somos vencedores. Okay.
The whole valve cover, timing, everything is off the engine. I'm about to take the head off, and for me, that's honestly unknown territory. I never rebuilt an engine before. I never even took the head off an engine. I'm just hoping the piston didn't hit the head. If that's the case, everything is good. The damage on this engine is honestly hard to ignore. It didn't just fail on one side of cylinder 4. It punched through both sides and even took out the starter on its way out.
Well, I wasn't expecting this. The piston inside, as you can see, there's a big crack, and the piston made contact with the head. So this is cylinder 4 and the valves are bent. So I'm not sure if I can actually still use this head, if I can just replace the valves in it and then just reuse it, or I need a completely new head.
It's only you and me right now. When you're holding me close, I feel safe and sound. Not a care in this world.
The rod is completely snapped. It's not even attached.
Oh
yeah. Look at this. Wow. Wow.
What surprises me even more is what didn't fail. The crank journals actually look fine, even on cylinder 4, and the bearings don't look as bad as you'd expect, which makes me think this might have not been a simple rod bearing failure. After talking with a friend of mine who used to work as a mechanic at Ford, he suggested the engine may have hydrolock. With the amount of oil that was likely being burned, the fuel-air mixture probably stopped combusting properly. Since fluid doesn't compress, the pressure would have built up until something had to give. And it basically went zoom zoom boom. But honestly, I'm still not 100% sure. If you've got theories, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think happened here.
So what I'm gonna do next is with the head of the engine. Clearly, cylinder 4, the valves are bent, so they're no good. For the intake and for the exhaust, there's signs on the piston that they hit if it's possible to use this head. What I'm gonna check is the other 3 cylinders. I don't see any damage on the pistons. So I'm gonna fill up the chamber with paint thinner to see if it goes through the valves. It retains the fluid over 5 to 15 minutes.
Going into this, I was convinced I spun a rod bearing, and the head would probably be fine. But clearly, that wasn't the case. If only I had a spare engine lying around for parts. A while back, I bought a blown CX-7 and swapped its engine just to flip the car. That left me with the old motor, which, as you'll see, is absolutely disgusting inside.
So the CX-7's engine is ready to be disassembled. I let the head soak. Obviously, I removed the fluid by now. There's a little bit of fluid that only showed up after like almost an hour. And there's a little bit of fluid coming out of the valves here. I don't think it has anything to do with any of the pistons hitting those valves. I think with just maybe carbon buildup or whatever, like the compression was a little bit lower in those cylinders. So it's kind of expected to see a little bit of leak. Maybe I can just remove the valves completely and make sure they're all clean. Maybe lap them a little bit with some compound.
This CX-7 engine failed due to overheating, and it looks like the previous owner tried to use stop leak. You can see exactly why that stuff tends to cause more problem than it solves. Even with how rough it looks inside, it still surprisingly ran. It had low compression, but it wasn't knocking.
All right, let's see what's inside of here. Ooh, not so nice. There we go. Oof, that's gross. Wow. So yeah, clearly something was busted. Wow, I don't think the block is actually even usable. It's a lot of rust in there.
The cylinder walls are pretty rough though, and I'm honestly considering whether it could be rebuilt in the future.
So I just got my spring compressor tool, so I'll go ahead and try to remove the bend valve in the head. Removing the intake valves on the CX-7 head, and so far it looks like I should be good to reuse these valves. Needs quite a bit of a cleanup.
Back on my ported head, I figured this was the perfect time to go a step further and properly clean everything up. I removed all the valves and soaked the head in diesel to help break down the remaining carbon buildup. But for now, I'll set that aside and move to what's going to become the short block for this build. This is a 2.5 Duratec out of a 2012 Ford Fusion. Before committing to this setup, I had a few options. First, I could have gone with a JDM replacement engine. They usually run around $2,000 to $3,000 Canadian from shops in Montreal. But mileage claims are always a bit of a gamble. And with a track focused build, I didn't want to risk unknown timing wear or hidden issues. Second, I could have rebuilt the CX-7 engine, but between the overheating damage, scored cylinders, and machining costs, the timeline started to become a concern, especially with the goal of going to the meeting of Mazdas in Woodbridge if it does take place this year. That left me with option 3, the 2.5 hybrid swap. And honestly, a big part of this decision is simple. I've been wanting to build a 2.5 hybrid for a while now. It just makes sense to me. In my opinion, the 2.5 MZR Duratec is one of the best mid-2000 4-cylinders engine. It's reliable, torquey, and in daily driver it just works. I run one in my work van with over 300,000 kilometers and it hasn't missed a beat. In a lighter chassis like the Mazda 3, it makes for a great street engine, and with a turbo setup like this, it has serious performance potential. The benefits are pretty clear. More displacement, meaning more torque everywhere in the power band. Faster turbo spool. It should be pretty comfortable with the power range for my goal of around 320 to 350 wheel horsepower.
So I finally got the 2.5 on the engine stand. Now it's just a matter of dismantling it all. Just from looking at it, obviously the intake manifold is off, and I can see why people say that the 2.5 has much better flowing head. The intake port on the 2.5 are definitely bigger than the Mazda Speed intake port. So that's very interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if or what kind of difference are with this overall. Obviously, one of the big thing is the oil drainage. I'm gonna have to tap the block to get the oil drain line in there. There's also not the secondary bolt for the turbo brackets to be supported. So that's just something to keep in mind. But apart from that, the casting overall seems pretty much the same as the Turbo 2.3.
Before tearing the 2.5 apart, I couldn't resist doing a quick test fit with a Speed 3 transmission in another project car. Since I'm already going through all this work, I figured now was the perfect time to have my injectors flow tested and replace the seals with copper ones. So I pulled them from my ported head and sent them off to CW Turbochargers in Toronto.
Alright, it's time to see what's the inside of this thing. Honestly, it looks pretty clean. Looks a lot cleaner than the 6.7's engine, so. Well, I was just about to remove the head and I came around and the head bolts are not the same at all from the 2.3. So I had to run to the store to get a set of Torx kit with a T55 in it to be able to remove the heads from this one. I also had to get a kit to remove the head off the 2.3s because that's a 12 point. There we go. Notice some decent crosshatch in these cylinders. Bit of a lip, but that's okay. All right, so I'm looking at the head gasket. This is a 2.5 head gasket. This is a 2.3 head gasket. It's interesting because they're very similar, but the openings for the coolant jackets are actually bigger on the 2.5, especially like the holes all around here. Plus the 2.5 has 2 additional holes right here. So one here and then one here. Compared to the 2.3, there's no holes here and no holes here. Plus just the overall diameter of the holes is just ever so slightly, like, honestly, it's pretty significant, like considering the pressure of the coolant and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting to see that the 2.5 gasket, I already ordered a 2.3 head gasket, but knowing this in advance, I would have probably like ordered a 2.5 just to have, I think, better coolant flow throughout the engine block and the head.
Surprisingly thicker rods compared to the 2.3, and honestly, I'm most excited about learning how to build it myself. Plus, cost-wise, I paid under $500 Canadian taxes in for this engine. Of course, it's not perfect. The crank isn't forged like the 2.3s, so if the goal was extreme horsepower, this wouldn't really be the ideal platform. It also doesn't have oil squirters under the pistons like the 2.3. When I tore it down, I was actually really happy with what I found. No sludge, barely any varnish. The timing setup is noticeably more robust too. The chain is thicker, and if I didn't already have the 2.3 timing components, I'd honestly be running a 2.5 setup instead.
Well, all 3 engines are taken apart. The 2.5 is pretty much stripped down. I got the head soaking and the piston soaking in diesel. So at this point, I'm just waiting on parts that I've ordered to be able to rebuild this engine with a 2.3 head. So I'm gonna leave it at that for this episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.